This is A Drink with the Hurricane, the talk show discussing all things growing your home care business.
But when it's the right people, of course you want to pay your staff. And you should pay your staff. I will tell you right now, something that I see straight across the board, this is a lot of, write this down. Nothing hurts your business's growth like office staff turnover. Nothing will hold you back. My home health and hospice friends, I see you writing it down because that's everything I'm saying, with the exception of some of this, but even the things I'm saying, you all have the same liability insurance, just not with the dollar. So the dollar doesn't go through, but everything else you got to calculate. But managing your staff, every time I've ever worked with any business, I've done work with photographers, I've done work with a lot of different type of businesses, all right, not just home care. I've done a lot of work with a lot of different businesses. When you have a lot of turnover in your office staff, the people that run the organization, your business halts or more than likely starts going backwards because there's no consistency. There's no leadership. There's no trust amongst the people that are working together. So you have to pay your staff, and you should pay them well. Something that I've said many times, which I would love to, as I'm going through increasing the profits, and this is the truth. I know we want to pay our staff more, but the profits aren't where they should be. That's why we can't pay more. But I'll tell you, when I look at the averages for what people are paying for schedulers and recruiters, you're not paying them enough. I will tell you that. And the work and the compensation should go hand in hand. A lot of the members in the Elite Academy are understanding this as we're growing their businesses, right? There is a huge difference in the quality of work and the return on investment from a $70,000 a year recruiter versus a $36,000 a year recruiter. Annalise is shaking her head, yes. Right? Just like with the caregivers, as I'm talking about paying caregivers more money based on experience, yeah. If I want a recruiter with a decade worth of experience, she should cost more money than somebody with a year or two experience. And she should produce more. Schedulers on average make about $40,000 a year. I will tell you, and I know I'm different, I know whatever, but I haven't made $40,000 a year since I was 23 years old. And that was for like a year because I said there's going to be a better way, and that's when I joined Brian at CareChoice. So $40,000 a year ain't all that. Forget inflation, forget what's going on in the country right now. $40,000 a year is not a lot of money. So if I have a lot of turnover, or not a lot of turnover, I have a scheduler who can't staff cases left and right, who can't find a way to get it done, and she's halting the growth of my business, well, you get what you pay for. That's what a $40,000 scheduler is going to bring. I have a client, Fort Lee, New Jersey, huge, $10, $12 million a year business. Won't say his name. Great individual, though. He has an entire scheduling department. Not a scheduler, a scheduling department. Think about it, right? $12 million a year in revenue. We're talking about hundreds of clients. He's taking care of all private pay. Scheduling department. He is a director of scheduling. That person's making like $90,000, $100,000 a year. And then he's got several schedulers underneath. Now, his scheduling department is not as large as you would think. His schedulers underneath are making about $70,000, $75,000 each. The reason why they're making so much, though, is because that $70,000, $75,000 scheduler can do twice the work of a $35,000, $40,000 a year scheduler. He's hiring for experience. No wonder he owns an 8-figure a year business, and his profits are where they should be. Does this make sense, everybody? Yes. Right? This is huge. This is huge. So I'm taking back to it. But again, your office staff, at least $3 for every hour that you're providing services. This leaves the company with $2 an hour. And I'm just going to I didn't even talk about everything. We'll just say another $1 an hour for miscellaneous expenses that we didn't have, that we didn't even discuss. And this is what you're left with as the owner of the company. $1. $1 an hour on $28 that you're charging here. Is this enough? No. Right? Did you start the American dream? Did you start your business so that you could make $1? I didn't think so. Did you spend 50, 100 $100,000 startup cost to start your business so that you could make $1? No. You didn't start it for that purpose. You wanted to grow your business. And so so everything I'm saying with the staff, right? These people, they want more money. I'm telling you to give them more money. You want to give them more money, but where's it coming from? It ain't coming from here because there's nothing left over. This is the problem. And when you look at this, right, I said $28 an hour is the average. $1 is what most people have left over at the end. $1 on $28 is like 3-4%, 5%. Don't take my, what is it? 3.6. So I'm not that far off. Because you see on the screen here, you can zoom it out. Jim, you can zoom it out. Thank you. So you see on the screen here, let's just look at the middle column. So this is the profit loss statement. Last year, Home Care Pulse came out last month, May, what the average company profits, percentage-wise, nationwide. Now they have a whole bunch of ranges here, all right? If you're in the less than $1 million, you spent more money last year than you actually made. Deficit spending. Now, if you're in your first 2 years of business, that is common. I don't want you to do that, but that is common. But let's just go to the middle of the pack, because the middle of the pack represents the average person who filled out the survey. All right, so here, the average person who filled out the survey, the range it says is 1.6 million to 2.8 million, right? And the average person at that bracket in the middle of the pack had a $2 million business. $2 million. Now add this up, folks. 62% went towards all things compensating caregivers. 62%. Add 3%. What's that? 60 what? 65%. That's towards all things caregiver compensation and all things caregiver attraction, the recruiting stuff. Add to it, let's go 5%, because I took the percentages off and now I'm combining it. 5%, 65 and 5 is what? 70. So 5% was for all things sales and marketing. That's what you should spend. As a matter of fact, the Small Business Administration says that you should spend about 7 to 8% of your total annual revenue on all things sales and marketing. But because we're healthcare, we'll spend the other 2% or so on compliance, and so that's where it balances out. But we're now at 70%. And now let's go to operating expenses. Everything associated with operating the business, add 23% to that. So 70 plus 23 is what? 93. That means that as of right now today, the average $2 million a year home care company is just at 7% profit. 7%. So as I'm going through this and I'm painting this picture, and I know a lot of you are feeling this. I know a lot of you are feeling this. The average company who filled out this survey, and I will tell you right now, what I love about the Home Care Pulse is they say this is the average. Home Care Pulse is not the average. Anybody who fills out the Home Care Pulse is in a better than average company. Because there's a lot of people who don't even know what Home Care Pulse is, and they don't fill out, they don't participate, they don't track their numbers. So they're doing worse. So this is the cream of the crop. The smartest entrepreneurs work with Home Care Pulse, and they're only profiting 7% on $2 million. 7% on $2 million. Do you know what that is? It's about $100,000, $120,000. That's what the owner is making on a $2 million business.